This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Do you have a point of sale system you can trust, or is it a real POS? You need Shopify for retail. From accepting payments to managing inventory, Shopify POS has everything you need to sell in person. Go to shopify.com/system, all lowercase, to take your retail business to the next level today. That's shopify.com/system.
Are you ready?
Starting now?
Well, now you just messed it up, you nah. God, you know that the shit that we go through for this, huh?
I know. Fuckers better appreciate it. When we started, we were just like, yeah, we're just going to do this, man. You know, shoot our wad into the wind and see what happens. What's the title of this podcast again?
I don't know. I don't know. Something with a penis, I guess.
Right.
Our fucking faces are everywhere now.
Right.
You know, but
You're welcome, ladies.
Right. Popular with the ladies.
Right.
Oh, I'm not even going to apologize because hopefully it sounds fucking hilarious.
Yeah, totally. This is fucking explicit now.
The explicit button. Let me use my finger.
La, 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 la.
It is time for another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And that episode starts now.
All right. I was just thinking I might as well talk through this. I doubt very seriously I'm going to edit this anyhow. So, but why the hell can't I? Oh, there we go. Pause upload. Boom. Hello, everyone. We're doing a technical update here.
Check 1, 2.
Check 1, 2.
Sibilance.
I got to pause mine also. Let's see. Pause. Yeah, look at that shit. Hold on. Okay. All right. Is everyone still there?
I am. I don't know about anybody else.
I know. All right. So, yeah. Are you ready yet?
No.
Well, all right, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And yeah, we had obviously everyone knows over the last couple of weeks, we had a delay problem, right? And
delay.
And it was, I think, I'm pretty proud of both of us for, kind of holding our composure because we're pretty good at it. But I'll tell you one thing, man, it was pissing me the fuck off. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't mad at anything in particular, but as much as we, kind of just go with the flow with this thing and blah, 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 it's really hard to have a conversation when the other person can't hear you right away.
Right.
And the whole point of us spending, $200+ a year on this software is to be able to not deal with that shit.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. We want to turn this shit on and talk to you people.
Yeah. And talk to each other. That's that's the whole point. If you want to hear, what we're talking about, why we made the switch, listen to anywhere from episode 3 until episode 22, and you'll get really frustrated because that's why we switched.
Right. Yes.
Because the audio was fucked up, but we were on our phones, so it was what it was. But so anyhow, so hopefully, all said and done, this is going to sound better. But before we get on with your reading, I want to bring up a birthday wish from you and I to this particular thing. Are you ready for the birthday wish?
Sure, why not?
Happy birthday. Happy 150th birthday to the jockstrap.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So I'm listening to the radio, my morning show this morning. I listened to, and there was the teaser. It's like, happy birthday, jockstrap. I'm like, something is how old? And I'm like, wait a second, what? So I'm listening to it. And yeah, the fucking jockstrap was invented 150 years ago. And I'm like, really? I'm like, I need to bring that up. So here's my question for you. Either when's the last time or have you ever worn a jockstrap? I mean, it's...
like elementary school, wrestling, I want to say 4th grade, maybe. Yeah, you had to.
Right.
Yeah. You know. Yes, I was supported athletically.
Yeah, if you can't be in athletics, be an athletic supporter. Thank you.
That's right.
From the movie that was from Greece, wasn't it? Or no, was that from Porky's? One of the two.
I don't know.
But yeah, I was thinking about it too because they were joking on the radio that one of the guys said he goes I don't think I've worn a jock strap since the '70s, but I know I wore one in high school. I played soccer and ran track and stuff like that, but I don't think it was all the time. Football.
I mean, I've had some harnesses down there, but that's a whole nother story. Hi, ladies.
Wait a second. Note to self. What the fuck? But yeah, I just thought that was kind of funny. I'm like, okay, so in 1874, really think about this. The biggest problem they had, I mean, it wasn't food or getting killed by wild animals or getting shot by somebody. It was, hey, I want to holster my dick.
Right.
It's kind of what
my junk's flapping around. I need. Wow.
Right.
All right. Well, I mean, the Civil War was over, so we had to figure something out to do.
Yeah, it blew my mind because as I'm doing the math back, and I'm like, really? Okay, so I'm tired, I'm hungry, I just got shot, and this bear almost ate me. But man, I could really use a piece of clothing to tighten up my nuts. I mean, it just I don't know. It would be just. Did you have other things to think about? But anyhow, okay. Oh, and on top of that. It's okay. This just seems wrong. And I posted. Yes. I know you posted on social media, but it's International Women's Day, so it's the fucking jockstrap's birthday. And then didn't some motherfucker take a look and be like, okay, what other things are being celebrated on this date? So let's throw International Women's Day in to celebrate these fine ladies out there, all of our listeners and our friends and our family members. Again, we love all of you, but yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that. It's also when the jockstrap was invented. So there's that. But okay.
All right. Okay.
All right. So are you ready to do your reading yet? I had to get that part out, but
wow.
You ready to do your reading yet?
I'm glad you feel better now. Yes,
I do.
I am ready.
I feel really good.
Are you supported? Is
I
everything
am.
nestled?
I am. You know what? Hang on. Yep, it's all good.
All right. Well, I'm wearing sweatpants and that's it. So there you go. I am not supported. All right. 1, 2, 3. All right. Sobriety. Yes, the reading for today. This is from God Grant Me. Oh, good Lord. I need some sherbet or something to cleanse my palate. Maybe this will work. This is actually today's. I read this morning and went, that's a pretty damn good one. I think I will do it tonight. So here we go. March 8th. The spiritual life does not remove us from the world, but leads us deeper into it. Henry J.M. Nouwen. He was a Dutch priest and professor and philosopher. I had time to look him up. All right. We get into recovery to get our life back. The shame that is often part of our addiction can have us believe that we are second-class citizens. We are not. Recovery demands that we go deeper and deeper into the world. By moving deeper into the world, we deepen our relationship with our higher power. We are giving the gifts of recovery, freedom, care, and love, and we are to take these gifts out into the world. The world needs them, just as we need recovery. We who were hopeless must bring hope to those who need it. We who lived in despair must now bring joy into the larger world. We who lived in shame must now bring dignity to those who seek direction. This is the way of the Spirit. We are now givers, not takers. Prayer for the day. Higher power, help me to stay on the path of the Spirit. Help me to go deeper and deeper into your world. Today's action, those pesky actions. Today I will list 5 ways I can give more to the world that I live in. I will then start to act in a way that will make me a giver and not a taker.
Nice. And I read that this morning, and well, of course, I that's probably not of
Right.
course, but I did, and I copied that
Yes.
one, and I think I posted, one from Keep It Simple, if I'm not mistaken, but because it just I don't know
Mm-hmm.
whatever it was, and because it was funny when I was reading that it all the things it was talking about, I'm like, God, I wonder if this is one that you have. I wasn't thinking necessarily of one that you would read tonight, but it kind of everything
Mm-hmm.
it had in there. I'm like, I wonder if this is one of the ones that you have saved. And sure as shit, ended
Mm.
up reading it. So that's a good one. I mean,
Right.
it was a, oh, I know what I meant to tell you. Kind of quick side note. The 24-hour book, it was Monday or Tuesday. It was one of the days this week. It was one of those readings that
Mm-hmm.
had, and again, the 24-hour book we've talked about, it has a lot of God stuff in it, God, the literal
Mm-hmm.
God words in it. I,
Right.
I finally ended up counting. It was like 15. And I'm like, and this
Wow.
is this short little paragraph. I think a 12 or 13 or 15. It was a lot. And I'm like, oh my,
Mm-hmm.
again, oh my God,
Oh my
but
God.
um, it was crazy. It was a lot. But so yeah, and it's talking about, obviously, to begin with, the spiritual world, and it leads us deeper into it. I like that part. Um, Second class
Mm-hmm.
citizen, I wrote down gifts out into the world now, and then it's talking about the things we do now, bringing hope, bringing joy, bringing dignity, and then giver not taker was the last
Mm-hmm.
thing I wrote down. But so the thing of it
Mm-hmm.
is, now back to the whole, like, the whole spiritual thing, and we've talked enough about the religion and all those sort of things. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, it just reminded me of when people say that when they talk about the spiritual part of the program, meaning of Alcoholics Anonymous. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, do you agree that it is spiritual? That's what it is, right? There's no, like, spiritual part.
Right. Oh yeah. Yes, it is. And whatever your definition, just like your definition of power greater than yourself, higher power, or whatever. Yeah, whatever your definition of spiritual is, again, that kind of, yeah, we've all had it, that indefinable feeling, deep down inside of us, whatever the hell it is, we felt it, whatever it is. It's something that, you know, is good. We can all agree on that. We've all felt that, whatever it is, that feeling in us that's good, that makes us feel good. It's in there somewhere. I don't know. I don't have really the words for it. I don't really have the. I don't know, man. It's something. There's something there.
Right. No, and I know it is funny. Every once in a while, I do the same thing when we're talking through some of these things. The fact that we both understand what we're saying, but sometimes it's
Mhm.
it's impossible to put it in words.
Right.
Um, but yeah, it just I remember
And
that.
that, I think that's kind of a good thing. Sometimes,
Right.
that is that for lack of a better word, mystical thing. It's a mystery. It is undefinable. We're not supposed to be able to nail it down and define it. If we could, then it would be something else. It would be science, or it would be a text, or it would be, whatever, a table. It is. It's that undefinable thing that is bigger than us.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just I don't know. I remember it just popped into my head that people used to always talk about that, that the spiritual part of Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm like, it's all that way,
Mm-hmm.
kind of. So, um,
It is.
yeah, it just and well, that's the thing that you and I talked about specifically over the last few weeks, and to begin with in earlier episodes, was the fact that how we're either one of us, even though we're both on slightly different levels, when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
the God thing, we're
Right.
very close, but also just a little bit on different levels. But trying
Mm-hmm.
to figure out how are we going to deal with this with this thing being a God based thing, which,
Right.
I mean,
Right.
again, thank God it's not.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, it isn't. Hey, it can be, and
Right.
if it is for you, cool, whatever. But yeah, but it doesn't. It isn't though. It is. It's spiritual thing again. The mystical. It's a mystery. It's something undefinable outside of ourselves, but yet at the same time in us.
Right.
Fucking A, man. I don't know.
Well, I mean, literally, it goes back to the same thing we talk about all the time. It's the AA math. It's how does this work? It doesn't fucking matter. It just does. And we
Right.
have neither one of us, and it literally, I mean, we're shying up on peeking around the corner at 14 years, and neither one of us could write down exactly, as somebody said, tell me exactly how this works. Well, here's a book. There's 12 things in there, 12 steps and 164 pages that you should read. Go to some meetings and do some things like that. But I can't draw you a fucking diagram on how this thing works. If you do all these things, though, I'm going to tell you it does.
Right.
It just
Yeah.
does.
Well, again, it is in the book. It's a simple program of action. We have to do things differently, do things that are not our natural way of doing things, because our natural way of doing things is to get loaded, be selfish, and take. Yes, right. So, like it ended with, we become givers and not takers.
Right.
That's how this thing works. Yeah.
So it also talked about second class citizens, which, I mean, I think that's probably one of the nicest things. If anyone only if somebody only called me a second class citizen when I was what I was, I think that's probably a compliment.
Right.
because I
Right.
think,
Well, actually, the quote is, our addiction would have us believe that we're second class citizens.
oh, I got you. I missed that part. Yeah, that might have been why the dogs were barking like fucking crazy. And I'm sitting there trying to take notes, and I was right towards the top, and I opened the door, and I think Kathy must have taken Moxie or something for a walk, because I just screamed down there. I'm like, stop it.
Right. All right. So then you missed that part. Yes.
I might
Our
have.
addiction would have us believe that we're second class citizens.
Okay.
When then we're not. We're citizens, just like everybody else.
Right. Maybe not first class, but we're citizens.
First class somethings, but yes.
Right. And then the other thing, like I said, I wrote down about, and I believe it was talking about how we are now. We get the opportunity to bring hope, bring joy, and bring dignity. And whether all the words and how the paragraph came together, I think just those things in general, you can relay that to ourselves. You can talk about that to other people, to places that we are. When we walk into a store, we're not falling down drunk in a store, when we're hanging out with a family member, just when we are out there being who we are now, we could bring hope, joy, and dignity to ourselves and all the other things around us, which is pretty fucking cool.
Right. Well, I mean, and it kind of, really the point of the reading, that the way I took it, was we give these things to other people. Again, that fucking AA math. We give these things, we give hope and joy and dignity to other people. That's how we get it.
Right.
Again, that's how we get worth, is we're worthwhile to other people. Because we tried it the other. I know I fucking sure did. Tried it the other way. I tried to be worthwhile to myself and not to anybody else, and that's how I got that second class citizen shit.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way I took it when I read it this morning and when I read it this evening. Yes, that's, again, the AA math. We give these things away, and that's how we get them. Fucking A, man.
Which is true. I mean, every part of that, is 100% true. And that's the whole thing. The last thing I wrote down was, being a giver and not a taker. And, we've talked about that in plenty of different, different subjects and different stories and that sort of thing. But, man, I don't know, even when it comes down to, and, we've talked about how you and I feel about birthdays and things like that, but, the birthday is what it is. But there's only one time a year that I expect a gift, and it's a specific one, because it's something that you and I have gotten now for, however many years. Right. It started for me at year 2.
Well,
were you getting your
times?
Yeah, were you getting your coin? Did they get you a coin at year 2? Mom and Kathy?
Yeah.
Was it? Okay. I couldn't remember if you start getting them right away. Okay. So yeah. And just to kind of go back, if anyone, and we'll talk about it next month anyhow when we get the coins. But our mom and our sister started.
If we get them.
Right. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, we're not fronting. So the plan would be, or I'm sorry, not even
if
plan.
We earn them.
Correct. So up through last year, let's put it that way,
Mm-hmm.
on our
Mm-hmm.
anniversary, our mom and our sister would get us these specialty coins, and
Right.
I went through. Mike, you get a different one every year, and they're always really, really cool looking. Always
Yeah.
something a little bit different, very unique. But it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like one of those ones you're like, however you feel that year is the type of coin you get. And
Right.
I went and did. I found this one that I really liked, and I did it from year 2 through year 10. And then I'm like, you know
Mm-hmm.
what? And then the frame that I had them in, because I have all my coins in a frame, was
Right.
full-ish to the point where I didn't want to
Mm-hmm.
jam it all in. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start a new frame, and I want to get a new style coin. So now my second frame is going to be all in has been, all these new coins, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not, and I say expect, kind of in a joking way, but that's
Right.
a very meaningful
Oh yeah.
gift, and it's something that we were teasing Kathy when our mom died. We're like, well, I guess you got to foot the bill for both of them now. She's like, yeah, I think I can afford it. And they're not expensive. I don't know. They're what, 10, 12
Right.
bucks, maybe 20 bucks or something like that. I mean,
20, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're cheap, but they're meaningful. They're
Mm-hmm.
hugely meaningful. And I look forward to it every time. And, Kathy always would pick out, our sister, Kathy would always picks out a
Mm-hmm.
card, and the card's really
Mm-hmm.
nice. And the
Mm-hmm.
first, it was probably, my first year anniversary. She got me a really nice card, and that's in the frame that I had my first set of
Right.
coins in.
Mm-hmm.
And just little things like that. But yeah, she'll do it every year. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I don't really want for anything as far as gifts.
Right.
Which
Right.
is
And and don't expect anything. Right.
right.
And kind of including that, I mean, it's verging on me expecting it, but yeah, I don't expect anything anymore, which is kind of nice. There's freedom in that too, kids.
Right. Yeah, there really is. And, not wanting anything in return. And, there's certain things like we've come to get used to or expect, I'll even take out the word expect. We've gotten
Mm-hmm.
used to the fact that, we get those coins every year.
Right.
I get used to the fact that on Father's Day and my birthday, my kids they'll pay for my lunch. They don't have to. And I tell them, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, you don't have to. All I want is just hanging out with them. That's it.
Right.
I don't care if I have to fucking pay for it. It's not a big deal,
Yeah.
I just want to hang out with them. It's like, no, we'll, we buy you lunch. So that's cool. But
Mm-hmm.
other than that, I mean, I never want anything for Christmas. If one of my kids or anyone gets me a little gift, it's usually one of those things where it's something that somebody came across, like your QR code shirt,
Right.
I don't know that Kathy normally gets you a birthday present, but
No.
she came across.
I mean, she's got me something, a few things in the past, whatever. But yeah, it was a very pleasant surprise.
Right. Yeah. And just, I mean, just out of the ordinary, those are the kind of things that I really appreciate, because it's somebody took the time and the thought, and, they're it's the little things. Everyone talks about that shit, oh, the little things that matter. But you know what? It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, everything, we talk about this before. You got to have a job. You got to pay some bills. You got to have some money. You got to do this and that. But,
Uh-huh.
Sometimes just going out and being, oh, that fucking moon.
Right.
Thank you, Heidi. Does she realize how many times we actually reference her in here?
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't know. We should get her to somehow pay to advertise or something like that. We should charge her for all that. But I don't know. I mean, all
Or
of
she
it.
should charge us for the content.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, shit. I'm gonna keep quiet. She'll never listen to this anyhow, so we'll.
Right, exactly. We'll just keep that on the down low.
Yeah, don't anyone say anything to her. Now stop it. But no, I mean that's the biggest thing. That kind of wraps up that whole reading. I mean, really nicely is just the, yeah. I mean, man, I can't even. We've talked about it, but I mean the stories that probably both of us have not only shared but have of all the things that we did, and like you said last week or the week before, and that's the thing, the term shooting angles, always looking for this, always looking for something, even if it was something, it just could be if I was going someplace to help somebody, I expected something. What's in it for me type of thing, And to this day, you and I have been very honest about it. We don't want to do fucking anything for fucking anybody, fucking anytime. Okay.
Nope.
But
no,
we do.
Right. But we do. Right. And we get the fucking rewards. Such as they are.
Right.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, but no, I to this day, and I know to the day I fucking die, man, my first thought's gonna be fuck that shit. I don't want to do that, but
Right.
I do it anyway. Yep.
It just reminded me of. Do you like Seinfeld at all? Do you ever watch any of his
Yeah.
stand up?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
No, I thought you meant the show.
Yeah.
I don't think I've really done much of his stand up, but yeah, the TV show I watched.
Yeah, so it was probably it's been between, I don't know, could have been 2 years ago, it could have been 7 years ago, or for all I know, but he did a
Mm.
like a stand-up show not too long ago, relatively speaking,
Mhm.
and just kind of get out there, did his whole thing, but he was talking about aging, because he's in his 60s now. I think he's in his mid 60s.
Right.
And he was talking
Mhm.
about how beautiful it is to get old, and he goes, the older I get, the less I'm required to do. And he said, because people don't expect me to do more. He goes, God, I'm looking forward to 70. He goes, I'm really looking forward to 80. He goes, you ever watch an 80? He goes, you ever watch an 80-year-old man, at a party,
Right.
or in a house?
Mhm.
And he goes, the guy gets up to go grab something, take out the garbage. Like, oh, no, Grandpa, you don't have to. Just sit down. Here, let me get you something to eat. And he goes, that's
Right.
what I'm looking forward to.
Right.
And I just started laughing because we're kind of at the age. I know my physical limitations these days. There's certain
Mhm.
things that I know either I won't do because I may get hurt,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
I just can't do. I just maybe lose some of that physical strength or the balls to do some of these things these days. But
Right.
I still have the ability to do things, but yeah, 60s and 70s. That's at the times like, oh, let me take care of that for you. Thank you. But yeah, that's when we can graciously take things again and not feel bad about it, right?
Okay. Yeah, hopefully I'll be caught up from, my 20s and 30s that I took fucking everything and
Right.
yeah, expected people to do that for me in my 20s and 30s.
Right.
Yeah, so hopefully I'll be caught up and the scales will be balanced, and by the time I'm 70 and I will actually be able to sit there on my ass and have somebody bring me something.
Right. Get me a sandwich. Give me a sandwich and an iced tea.
Right.
But no, I mean, I did. I like that reading, and it was a good one. And I same thing. Like I said, when I read it this morning, I enjoyed it. But I'm glad you read that one. So anything else?
Yeah.
Anything else about that one at all?
No,
or-
just the last line of the main body of it is we have to be givers and not takers.
Right.
That's that is one of the cruxes of this program, is turning that shit around. And that's, for you new folks out there, or if you're not so new, and whatever, that's one of the basic ones, man. Stop taking and start giving, and for some goddamn reason things get better for you.
Right. Yeah, which, like, we just said it, man. Who fucking knows why, but it just does. And this
Mhm.
is literally the only thing in my life that I don't question anymore. And I did,
Right.
for that first year,
Mhm.
9 months or whatever it
Mhm.
was, but everything else, everything, and I mean everything in my life, I look for the why behind it. I want to know how it works. I want to know all these different things.
Mhm.
That's my nature. That's how I'm built.
Sure.
But this is I mean, and I say the only thing. It's a huge part of my life, but it's
Mhm.
become such a simplistic part of my life because I don't question it. If that makes
Right. Yeah.
any sense.
And again, somehow it makes things easier.
I know. Yeah, it does. So, and I didn't expect this to be a segue, but ladies and gentlemen, here's a
Mm.
segue. So we are talking
All right.
about givers and takers, and I want to talk a little bit about the buy me a coffee, the donations, the
All
that
right.
sort of thing. Okay, but
That was smooth.
little different spin on it though. Okay, so
Okay.
I was listening to a podcast, and I really only have time to listen to a podcast usually on sometimes after I'm done on Fridays, but a lot of times on the weekends I'll just kick back and
Mhm.
have one on. And it's one I listen to all the time. I like the podcast. I'm not going to mention it because I want to get down on these individuals, but um,
Mm.
they also do the buy me a coffee and that sort of thing, and they've been
Mhm.
promoting it, and they get a lot of activity on it. They're bigger than us. They got more of a following base and all that sort of things. But
Sure.
one of them said, they're doing all the thank yous and all this different stuff. And then one of them said, that's the main reason that we're able to bring you this podcast. And that pissed me off. Because and I'm going to tell you why. And I don't care what their financial situation is. I kind of, I know what the two of them do. They talked about it and stuff like that, but that's irrelevant.
Okay.
In my opinion, is if people want to donate to us, I mean, granted, we've been open about the fact that, hey, it might help us grow and things like that. But it made me uncomfortable because I was thinking about if you or I said that, okay, so here's the thing, the only way we can do this is if you give us money. And I'm like, we're not those people. And we're not like give or else, or donate or else.
Yeah, right. Yeah, give us money or you can't listen to our dulcet tones anymore.
Right. And it just and that's why I wanted to talk about it, because I want to, I post stuff on Instagram, and it's about, do you want to support the podcast? And it has to buy me a coffee. It has to, do you want to buy merchandise or do the reviews or that sort of thing? So for anyone that's listening to this, let's make this really, 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 really simple. We do not need your money.
No,
we don't. Okay. And
no,
literally
we'd like a little of it, but we don't need it.
Right. And here's the thing. Mike drives a truck. I'm a fucking bill collector. Okay. Neither one of us are rich individuals. I was literally out of work for 7 months. I didn't go broke. I've got some credit card debt now, and I had the ability to do it. But here's the thing. He and I, my friend Mike over there on the other side,
hi there.
we chose to do this for ourselves. You guys are part of this, and that's great. We came across these things where we can, buy merchandise, do stuff, and get some donations. That's all wonderful. But I did a quick math in my head between Riverside, a couple $100, our website, our SoberNotMature website, that's a couple $100 a year. I think I got to pay for my cutting tool. That's less than 100. I mean, all said and done, I don't think.
Make sure you put a jock strap on that.
Right. I don't think we spend on a yearly basis, and I'm not even including the store website. That's a cost of about $50 or $60 a month. But that really, I mean, it's a sideline to the podcast, because all that is T-shirts and stuff like that. It's not podcast stuff. So that cost goes over in column B. We spend maybe $500 a year to do this. Yeah, there's been some headphones, and I bought a new computer, Mike bought a computer, whatever. Even had all that shit up over time. So that's what this thing costs us. Okay, granted, a little bit of time, some effort, not a big deal. But anyone out there, unless you've got, unless you're paying big guests and you're doing all these different things, you spend thousands of dollars on equipment. If you did, it's your fucking choice.
Right?
You do not need donations to run a podcast. You just fucking don't. Okay. So here's what I would like everyone to do. And Mike and I have talked about this before. If you want to donate, and I think Mike, I think you'll agree with me. Any donations, if you donate anything to buy me a coffee this entire year, we'll donate it to some charity. Okay. We don't need the money. That's number one. Number two, if you want to buy merchandise, you're getting something for that. Our profit margin is ridiculously small, and we lost money. We lost money at everything last year. We didn't make a dime on the store, anything like that. So if you want to buy something, then buy it. What you're spending on there is paying for the product plus a little bit of overhead, but we're not making any money on that. But here's what you can do, and I'm going to tell you the reason why, again, if you rate us, review us, we grow a little bit, right? If we get more listeners, then we're not at a point right now where we can actually attract any sort of advertisers other than, when you guys hear ads on here, actually ads that are not ours, they come from Spotify. We literally get paid pennies. And I'm talking about, like 1 cent here, 1 cent there type of thing. But the reason that we include the ads is because that also we get spread out more if we have ads based in our podcast. Okay. But if we can grow a little bit, more listeners, more plays, more this and that, then we can attract a sponsor, and then they can pay for everything.
Yeah, right. Yeah. They can pay for the subscriptions for the website and for the Riverside and all that stuff, and we can stop spending our own money to share this lovely stuff with you. But we don't care either way. We will continue to do this because we like to do it. Yeah.
Right. But that's the only thing.
Everybody
Help us
needs
grow.
a damn hobby.
And even if we don't get a sponsor, help us grow, because let's wrap this all up.
Mhm.
Give to somebody else. There's got to be somebody out there. I know for a fucking fact, if you are listening to this, we've said it before, Mike said it, I said it. If you're getting something out of this, there is somebody you know that will get something out of it.
Mhm.
Also, give this shit away. Also,
Right.
give it away to somebody else. That's it.
Yeah.
Right?
Got to give it away to keep it. Yeah. Share.
Yeah.
Yep. Stop being a taker and start being a giver. God damn it. Pay attention.
Right. But no, it just seriously, I will 100%. We haven't had any money donated on the Buy Me a Coffee thing in a while. Certainly not for this calendar year. But I 100% fucking promise, if we get any money through Buy Me a Coffee, whenever we donate, I'll do it at the end of the year. I could take a screenshot of any money that came through that year. We'll fucking prove that everything that we got, whether it's $17 or $1,700, we'll give it away to charity. Because we're not looking for the money. We don't need it, but maybe somebody else does and we can help donate that way. So then we are giving away and not being takers anymore, right?
Right.
Are you still? Oh shit! I thought it was like, are you still there? You paused a little bit, or we're delayed. Are we delayed again?
No, we didn't. We're delaying because you were delaying big time, because all through that speech you were cutting out, which is how it starts, and then we get the separation.
Yeah, and then you're starting to get a little bit of that thing too. Well, you know what? I don't know what the deal is with all this stuff, but why don't we do this at this point? So should we just take a break? Let this rest for a couple of seconds, and then we'll get back at this. What do you think?
Yeah.
Boy, it must be really bad. That was like 4 or 5 seconds.
Longer than that. It was about 7 seconds.
Okay, so take us into a break, and then I'm gonna restart. We'll start up a new studio. Okay.
All right. Well, we'll be back with more nonsense right after this word from our sponsor.
Hey everyone, it's your friends at Sober Not Mature.
Hi there.
And, yes, it's both of your friends this time. Hi Mike, how are you?
I'm well. How are you, Bill?
I am doing well, but we do have a purpose. We actually usually talk about our one website, but we actually have 2 websites now. So two websites in one. All right, so everyone knows we still have the podcast website that is www.SoberNotMature.com. And we just launched the store website, so we also have that. Do you know what the website address is on that one, Mike?
Of course I don't.
It's pretty easy, Mike. It's www.SoberNotMatureShop.com. But from the podcast website, you can still hit the store link and get into the web store, or you can access it from our Instagram page through the highlights. We've been posting quite a bit about it, and we'll continue to do that. But do you know what's on the second website, Mike?
Well, there's a store. There are products that you can purchase for you and your loved ones.
Well, Mike, do we still have merchandise?
We have merchandise. Well, we got T-shirts and coffee mugs and all kinds of crap.
And one of the coolest parts, we also do have all the recovery books from Hazelden, which is kind of a big deal.
That is a big deal.
At least for us. So all the books that we read, God Grant Me, 24 Hours, the Big Book, the 12 and 12, all of those books are available for sale on our website. And again, that store website is www.sober.
Trying to help, man.
I know you are. You're not helping, though. Okay, now I got to say www.SoberNotMatureShop.com. .com. Visit that today, or visit the podcast website, which is, again, the podcast website. So
www.SoberNotMature.com.
Did you just say sober but not mature?
Yeah, sure. Write that down.
Yeah, like fucking mush mouth or something. All right, everyone. You've suffered enough with this, and we'll get back to what we were talking about previously. So visit the websites, though. All right, everyone. Later that same evening. So let's see here. Yeah. I don't know. How long was that? That was on our end. That wasn't that long, but yeah, fuck.
10 minutes or so.
Yeah, it just wow, I tell you. So on my list and on Mike's list is to get a hold of our respective cable companies and let them do some diagnostic shit and figure out what the fucking problem is and say, you know what? After everything we just preached about, literally saying we gotta get this out to more people. Yeah, get this fucking garbage out to more people. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. Thanks.
Tell your friends. You want to hear a couple of old fucks that could barely, huh? That's what we sound
What?
like. Yeah, it's
What's
like
it? Where it going to? What?
I didn't hear you. Did you say something? Hey, you're delayed again. What?
Meh.
Well, fuck it. So you know what? I don't know. We got a fresh, brand new studio. This is Studio 107.1. Sound like a goddamn or dash one,
Right.
like a radio station. But
Exactly.
anyhow, so I guess what I was bitching out before was tell a friend to
Yeah,
listen to this
exactly.
fucking shit stuff. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what it was.
right.
But
Yeah. Ah.
yeah, exactly. So you want to hear something fun? You know our friend Gary that we had on in episode. God, I can never remember what episode Gary was, but Gary sent us an email
All right.
the other day, and for anyone who doesn't know, actually, maybe while I'm reading this, can you pop on your phone and take a look at if you could look back at what episode it was? Because I wouldn't mind promoting him. He's a good dude. So Gary's he's the individual that reached out to us randomly. We didn't know who he was and wanted to be on the podcast. We had him on. He was a great guest. He actually shares his episode with new people that he sponsors and stuff like that. Plus, he keeps in touch with us every once in a while, and he's a good dude. And we consider him a friend. So. So Gary sent an email the other day, and he's like, "Hey guys, what is up that Mike didn't close the last podcast? It was like a meeting where you did not close with the Lord's Prayer. I need Mike to tell me to I need Mike to tell me to fuck off, then keep fucking off until you get to a gate that says you cannot fuck off past here." And he reads the whole thing. He goes, I always say it out loud with Mike as I listen.
Nice.
And then in parentheses, he puts, I was going to say that keeps me sober, but that's not true. It does help, though.
That's all I can ask for. It helps a little bit. And Gary was episode 81.
Okay, yeah, everyone, please go back and listen to Gary's episode 81. He was great. He's a good dude, and like I say, he is what our definition of besides some of our friends and stuff like that. But you know what, our close friends don't listen as much as Gary does. So
right,
you know what, fuck our close friends. And
yeah,
Gary, thank you, Gary. Yeah.
It was from September 23rd. If anybody cares, yeah.
And then he goes on to say, I do know you had audio delay issues, but I was disappointed when he didn't do the close. He said the other thing is you now have ads. Now they started showing up on the podcast or 2 podcasts ago. He said short ad at the beginning, then one during the break. He goes, I hope you're getting some revenue from them. Well, Gary, we just explained that previously, but
right.
But then he's like, he goes, please don't take this as bitching, just feedback. Still love you guys. A loyal listener and friend. Signed, Gary. So
thank you, Gary.
Thank you. I emailed him back and I asked him what platform he was listening on, because I listen on Spotify and it was there. And then he said Apple Podcasts, and I'm like, fuck. I mean, that's where majority of people listen.
Right.
So I went into Apple Podcasts and popped through, and I could hear where the ads fell. I didn't listen all the way through on there, but it came through. It played fine, for that. So
I mean, I know I did it.
Oh, I know. Yeah. And literally, I had to go back on Spotify. I'm like, there's no fucking way that we forgot it, did we? Did we forget? And like, no. I mean, I know we didn't. But so anyhow, Gary, we appreciate everything you said, but it's possible. Do you have narcolepsy? Did you fall asleep there for a second? I don't know. But what I told him was, I'm like, we submit our episodes now in one audio chunk. That's number one. But I mean, unless they censored it, because I'm like, fuck, is Apple censoring our podcast now? But only other thing I could figure is if they dropped an ad or something like that and there was a space and then he missed it, towards the end. I don't know. Either way. But it was nice to hear from our friend Gary. So
it was.
Gary, Yeah. Thank you. As always, thanks for listening. We do appreciate it. And again, episode 81, right, Mike?
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right. So that was a positive from the bitching that I did back to a positive. All right. So here's a short one. Were you and I'll tell you, I sort of know where this came from. Oh yeah, it's from a podcast. Were you a puker when you were still drinking? Did you like throw up a lot, or did you just not?
No, not much. No.
Now, and it was kind of funny because a podcast I was listening to, the individual said they had like stomach flu or something like that. First time they had thrown up since they've been sober, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for a fact I haven't thrown up since I've been sober, but in my early days, high school, college, all that sort of stuff, I don't know if I was going to say before I kind of knew how much I could drink, but I guess sort of,
Uh-huh.
I mean, because I guess we all get to that point, even us, raging alcoholics. I mean, you realize how much you could throw down the gullet before it's just going to come flying back up on you. I would
Right.
think, right?
Yeah, right. Don't want to waste it. It's alcohol abuse.
Yeah, that's a good point. I've known people over the years that it might have been even in college or at that time that people that would actually, drink to, I mean, extreme excess,
Mhm.
just and then have to throw up so they can
Mhm.
drink more.
Right. Oh, yeah. That never made any sense to me. Right. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to throw up so I can drink more. Well, just fucking keep it in you, man. And then
Right.
drink more.
Right.
Amateurs.
Well, and that's the thing that if I ever did, throw up from, and first of all, if anyone's eating breakfast right now, fucking sorry.
Yeah.
Just
That'll teach you. Don't eat
exactly.
when you listen to this. Come on.
Yeah, I would say
know better.
don't do anything other than just listen. Who was that? Oh yeah, Daphne that was trying to grocery shop while she was listening to us and forgot what she was buying, or just don't drive, don't eat, don't do anything. Just listen to us, and certainly
Mhm.
don't. Yeah, who was that? Chris was listening to it openly at work, right? Finally,
Yeah, some of her coworkers were. Yeah, when she was back at the animal hospital. Yeah.
and finally they're like, yeah, you can't play that out loud.
No. Not safe for work.
Exactly. But you know what? If you happen to be in church right now, play it in church.
Right.
Yeah.
Very loud. As loud as you possibly can. Bring a Bluetooth speaker with you. The biggest one you can find. One of those party ones for your backyard. That kind
Right.
of thing. Yeah. Wheel it in there and crank it up.
Yeah, and just hide it in one of the pews and let the folks try to run and find it. But yeah. So, but I was thinking about that, and I wasn't that type of person. Again, except for early times, and
Right.
yeah, college was a big one because we used to sit. I mean, of course, college. We were drinking to excess, and then it got to the point where there was on our. I don't know if it was just our floor, but on our dorm room floor, in the RA's room, there was a chart. They called it the blow chunks chart. And it was, if anyone, like if your roommate or somebody got sick, you had to go and write. There's all these different columns: when, where, what did they drink. Yeah, all this stupid shit. It was just so stupid.
More examples of the worthlessness of higher education.
Exactly. Yeah, that was the chart on that. But I don't know. It was just when they were talking about it, I'm like, God, I don't think we've ever talked about that. But I was thinking more about the people that, like I said, threw up and tried to drink more, because that just never made any sense to me. I'd be down for the count if I ever got sick to begin with. But yeah, like you said, keep it in, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
alcohol abuse.
Exactly. Yeah, you feel like you're going to get a little sick, just, stop, settle down for a little bit, and, it'll pass, and then you can drink some more.
Yeah, I like that. I could just see you too as a fucking raging drunk, just sitting down going, okay, I'm going to sit down for a minute. I'm going to grab some water. I'm going to ease this out for a couple of minutes.
No water, just calm yourself down.
Calm the fuck down, dude. I got more drinking to do.
That's right. Ride that wave of nausea.
Right. So the other thing is, and I know you've probably never heard or never saw the show. There's a show on Netflix called Louder Milk.
Yes, I have not seen it. I really want to.
Okay, because it's Peter from
Office Space, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So great character, and he's a grumpy motherfucker and all that stuff. And as him and his character, I enjoy it. But the only thing that, and I actually I just finished the series. I would watch it while I was eating dinner and stuff like that. So, bits and pieces, and it's been over the last few months. And I don't remember if I saw it first on Netflix or after. The Sober Curator did a review on it, because they'll do a review on any type of movies, shows that have, recovery in them like that. So, and so visit the Sober Curator, by the way.
Right. Plug.
plug. But so yeah, I started watching it, and I like him. I like his character, and he's grumpy as fuck and whatever. And it's just all this different stuff. But here's the thing and I was hoping that this show wouldn't do it, but the thing that I don't like about a lot of these shows, and there's a ton of them or movies, is everyone relapses all the fucking time.
Right.
It gets to be, I don't know, whatever it is, life and triggers and this, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Because it'll get to the point where the person's, sitting at a bar, give me this. And I'm like, no, just don't fucking do it. And then a person downs a shot. I'm like, motherfucker. It pisses me off every time. So here was like the bad example. One of the characters, in this guy's, clearly as they're going through, and they have this whole group, they do group and stuff like that. And the guy from Office Space, Loudermilk is his name. He's the one that leads the group, and all these different people and whatever. So this one guy, he's had his ups and downs, throughout the series, and he finally, kind of had alienated his kids, and he's got a whole fucking gaggle of kids. I mean, like 10.
Yeah. Do it for fun once in a while.
That was. We might just close out now. That was. I don't know if I can top that. But yeah. So I mean, yeah, just this whole fucking gaggle of kids. But he's at this point now where he's got his kids back, and he's seeing them, and he's got a daughter that's, I'm guessing probably mid-20s or something like that. So he's getting together with her. She's back. He's back in her life, and he gets invited to this work event with her. So he goes, and the biggest thing that when he first shows up, he's trying too hard. He's trying to make a lot of dad jokes and making this and that, and like some of her friends, these work friends, and she's new there, just kind of looking at her, kind of funny. And then she says, "Oh, let's go grab, if you grab your water or something like that." So he walks up there by the bar. He grabs a club soda or whatever it is, and she's like, "Don't try so hard. Just settle down." He's like, "Really? This and that, blah blah blah." So they go back and they're sitting down, and one of them says something kind of as a joke, and you can see the look on his face that hit him wrong. So he goes, excuses himself, walks up to the bar. He goes, "Let me, I need another club soda." He's like, "You know what? No." He goes, "Give me a vodka, make it a double." And I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" So I'm like, all these things, all these promises are happening to this motherfucker after all these ups and downs. And he takes it, goes in the bathroom, drinks like 4, 5, 6 of them, ends up passed out, puking in the bathroom in the stall. And she's got to take him out, call the next day. She doesn't want anything to do with him, all this different stuff. And I'm just like, I hate it. I don't like, it seems like that nobody realizes how to make a show about somebody who can actually stay sober. It just bugs me.
Right. So, yeah. Well, they gotta, it's the fucking drama, it's probably wouldn't be all that entertaining if everybody stays sober, gets happy, gets their life together, and moves on.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we might want to see it, but I don't know if all the normies out there want to see it. They want to see us suffer, man.
No, and that's true. That's true. And for anyone who just listened about that little bit of a rant about that from me, is that I highly recommend the show. It's funny, it's entertaining. I really enjoy it. It does have some depth to it, and not depth. It's got some substance to it. Let's use that word, because I can't seem to say depth. But no, I highly recommend it. It's a good show. That little part, and I thought about it every time I watch a movie like that. It's just the same thing. I'm just waiting for whatever the thing is. I'm waiting for the guy, waiting for the lady to just get to this point, and then be like, okay, yep, they're gonna do what everyone thought they're gonna do. Take the fucking drink.
Right.
And I'm like, God damn it. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it probably wouldn't be. It's just like anything else. It's like the news,
Mhm.
Good news is not what, sells newspapers, quote unquote, or sells
Right.
time, or,
Mhm.
it doesn't get internet clicks or anything like that. So yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, people want to see tragedy and despair.
right. Well, and even with in the one I thought about, because I was trying to think of movies that, really where somebody did stay sober throughout, and then I remember in Clean and Sober with what's his face, Michael Keaton. Didn't you have
Mhm.
to watch that in California for your first
Yeah,
run?
yeah, I did. Yep, yeah, long time ago. Yep, yeah, Michael Keaton and Morgan Freeman.
Oh God, I forgot Morgan Freeman was in that. Holy
Yeah,
shit!
it's like
But
his sponsor, counselor, dude, whatever. Been a long
God,
time since
boy,
I've seen it.
yeah. And then I mean, the chick's dealing with obviously some shit with whatever, but and all that stuff. But I mean, and I think the whole movie is like 30 days, his first 30
Yeah,
days or whatever it
right.
is, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I mean, so he ends up staying sober as far as we know, past
Hmm.
that. But
Hmm.
there's all the other tragedy in it. But really, I mean, yeah, I suppose, I mean, there's not really movies out there that are just yeah, the drunk gets everything gets everything back, gets his or her life back in order, and things are just hunky dory. And that's 23 minutes into the movie, and they're like, okay, we got nothing else. Let's add some fucking drama.
Right, exactly.
But no, seriously, it's watch it. It's on. Do you have Netflix?
No.
Oh, okay. It's yeah. You might have to, have to dig into that through the spider webs in your wallet and pay for Netflix. But
Mm,
I do recommend it. I think you'll enjoy it. His character is you will relate to his character. He's grumpy as fuck, and
right.
all this,
What are you trying to
so
say?
yeah. Well, you're grumpy as fuck. I don't think there's anything I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Actually,
was
Chris found it. I don't know, a few months ago, and she told me about it. Yeah, I do want to see it. I know Will Sasso's in it. There's a couple other people in it that I like. Yeah,
yeah.
so yeah. Eventually, one of these days, maybe I can find it on DVD,
It since it's
VHS.
yeah, yeah, not VHS for sure. I'm like, I don't. Do they even make DVDs anymore of the newer shows? If
I
it was
don't
from
know.
like 20 years ago, you could probably find it on
Right?
DVD.
I don't know, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
Eventually, I'll find it somewhere.
yeah, but yeah, I do recommend it. I think you'll enjoy it. So,
All right.
okay, so kind of along those same lines, and something I wrote down at one point. Did you ever go through? Well, I'm sure you did, but let me just put it this way: how many times did you have to go through alcohol assessments? Do you remember how many times you had to, with like filling out forms or questionnaires, and did you try to lie and manipulate the results?
No, I don't think I ever allowed myself to be put in a situation where I had to do that.
Really?
Yeah.
See, well, I guess then again, you never got the DUI, so I mean that was
Right.
the.
Yeah,
I
I
think
never
that
got
was
the
the first
DUI,
time.
and if whatever, I was working some shithole job, and they started coming down on me. I just fucking left.
Right.
Yep.
Well, in
Or
the
even a good job, they started trying to get close to me or whatever. I just got the hell out of there. Yep.
right. And I'm trying to think. Well, I know that the first time would have been, yeah, I guess for me would have been the DUI.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to go through in the same thing. You go to a place and you fill out the form and you do all the different stuff and you talk to somebody. And I went
Mm-hmm.
through all the drunk classes. I talked about that. I can't remember what episode that was, but um, the the thing that I thought about was, and you sit there and you try to, I mean, you can't manipulate those, even if you
Huh.
go really light on it. I think those questionnaires to a certain extent are just bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at a lot of those pamphlets, if you look at like the top 10 things, or like if they ask you all those questions, you might be. I think even a normal person could fill out one of those, a pamphlet,
Mm-hmm.
and probably be like, you might have a problem.
All right.
But I went through like the full assessments and all those different things, and it doesn't matter. You try to lighten it up, and I was still a fucking alcoholic as far as they
Right.
looked at it, or problematic, however you wanted to put it. But then I had to go through it again. Through when Dawn and I were going through our divorce,
Right.
because that was all the court ordered stuff, and I had to go through the counseling, and man, I mean, I fought for my life trying to, not lose custody of my son, and just, by sheer luck, because he knew. I mean, the guy that I was seeing, that I was ordered to see as the counselor, he fucking knew. But I
Mhm.
don't know if he just didn't have enough full proof. He had me limited. I was
Mhm.
limited down to visitation and all those different things
Mhm.
until I could prove myself, type of thing. But they just didn't have any. I never got caught fully, I guess, is the best way to put it.
Right.
But again, I didn't deserve to have even what I did at that time. I'm grateful, that I had that and I didn't lose that time, because that would have been, probably, well, it was 4 years, from the time we split up until I got sober. And had I not had visitation, I mean, I could have lost a lot, when it comes to, to my son, of course. But
Mhm.
again, for whatever reason, that didn't happen. But same thing just kind of popped into my head, and I'm like, it just doesn't. There's no way in the fucking world that I could have completely lied my way out of that stuff. It just wasn't.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you
We,
know.
we think we think we can, but we definitely can't. People
Yeah.
know.
Well, the funniest thing with this counselor, and he was sober. I mean, he, was one of those. I mean, so I did, like I said before. I mean, I knew enough about this whole thing from my dad.
Mhm.
Once again, probably enough to make me dangerous, or make me think I knew sort of what I was doing, which I didn't. But I remember going in the one time, he was asking me all these questions, and we were going through these exercises or whatever. And I had said something about, the fact that I said, you were trying to, figure out if I had a problem with alcohol, or whatever, and this and that. I don't know how it came up. And he goes, I'm not trying to figure out if you have a problem with alcohol. He goes, I know you do. He goes, I just can't figure out, if you can be labeled, or if I could report that you, label you as a actual alcoholic.
Mhm.
And I'm like, God damn, dude. But it was, yeah, he didn't pull any punches. He goes, I know you've got a problem with alcohol. He
Right.
just he goes, I can't figure out. He goes, I have no, and maybe even said that. He goes, I have no definitive proof, to show
Mhm.
that you're, like a full blown alcoholic or whatever it is. And seriously, I was just, I could only imagine the look on my face. It's probably like, holy fuck.
Right.
Like, again, we think that nobody else knows, but yeah, everyone fucking knows, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think it feels like we're getting a little bit of that delay back again, huh?
Yeah, we are.
Okay. Let's see. I talked about that. I got that.
I've actually got something.
What? Yeah, go ahead.
All right, man. I had a live load today, so I had about an hour to kill and scrolling Facebook and blah blah blah, and this popped up. It's from my Rational Satanic Recovery Fellowshipping page. Right. Like I said, I've talked about it before. I actually got the book, and it's bullshit like any other bullshit of organized trying to figure shit out. But this guy posted on that page, and it's actually it's I don't know, it's a little long. It's probably gonna take a couple minutes to read, but I'm gonna read it because I thought it was really interesting. It's from a guy named Peter Petrovich. He posted this like yesterday. Um, and he posted in the thing. I thought I'd share some more thoughts following an in-person meeting I hit yesterday. This time around the concept of will, self-will, and willingness. I've noticed that many people in meetings don't observe that quote will and quote self-will are not synonymous. They do not mean the same thing. The end result is that the two terms tend to get conflated. Easy for me to say. They tend to get conflated, and this weird anti-will rhetoric has been created in the rooms that people cling to, as if any act of will is terribly bad and should be abandoned, never mind that it is a basic function of a healthy ego. I'm unsure where this rhetoric came from, whether it's the Protestant influence in AA or perhaps just the general fact that, quote, self-will has largely slipped from the English language, as I really don't hear it used in everyday speech. Nevertheless, I find this problematic rhetoric needs to be banished, and that it doesn't actually gel with the AA text. Bill W. uses the term, quote, self-will throughout the AA core texts, and I'm convinced that this particular word choice wasn't accidental. Bill W. does not seem like he was a stupid person. Bill W. is pretty handy with words and almost flowery with his tendency towards very specific word choice. And my view is that his use of self-will as opposed to will was highly intentional. Self-will is defined as basing your actions on your own decisions without listening to advice from other people. It's also generally considered to be synonymous with the word obscenity. No, hang on, not obscenity. It's also generally considered to be synonymous with the word obscenity. Fuck me, man.
Like obstinance?
Yes, obstinacy. Thank you. See, I need help all the time. And it's a good word, and it's a good word to have in mind whenever you see the word self-will. Will, on the other hand, is simply one's intent and choice to do something. For instance, it's my will to attend meetings, to enjoy my life, and to stay sober. Willingness simply means that one is in a state of mind where they are open to exercising their will as an act of volition. It's probably worth noting that compulsions aren't will. The Uncover Satan, Recover Yourself text covers the issue of compulsions. That's the book I was talking about. Covers the issue of compulsions pretty solidly. And if you're acting out of a compulsion, this is effectively the opposite of will. You can't even call it self-will. Swinging back around to the good old self-will, a prime example of that is our insistence to obstinately trying to manage our substance use, ignoring all the contrary advice and evidence that we have a problem with substances or processes. Once we drop the obstinate part, we still need to exercise will to pursue recovery. We need to enact that will in the face of our compulsions, which are attempting to drive us otherwise. As a closing comment, I might as well make a reference to God's will. For me, God's will is nothing more than coming to terms with the uncertainty and chaos. There is no God's will to follow at all. It's simply a handy little mnemonic to shift our thinking and relationship with uncertainty and our efforts at control. When one hands it over to God's will, all you're really doing is saying, I cannot control this thing. I've happily found in my own recovery that I can achieve the outcome of coming to terms with a chaotic universe without needing to involve the mental mnemonic ritual of a higher power concept.
So, I mean, and first of all, that's interesting. I mean, especially knowing that, that the mindset of the individual that posted that, knowing that it's coming from, like you said, even with it's from that satanic type of booklet thing and whatever, we're still on the same path.
Right. Oh,
You
yeah,
know what I mean?
absolutely.
I mean, the words and the thoughts and everything in there everything is still on the same. Had you not even mentioned anything or took out any words on there, about the satanic part of it, that could have been from any recovery book, right?
Right. Exactly. Well, it is a recovery book.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. It could have been from any recovery book.
Right.
It didn't matter any specific one. It could have been pick the title, pick the group, pick the name. It could have been from not any specific one, but any of the recovery groups, which I think is kind of cool.
Right. But yeah, the difference between will, self-will, and willingness. Right.
Right.
Right. And the self-will, which, is what we're trying to get away from, our self-will.
Right.
But yeah, the what he's talking about is in the meetings and stuff. Yes, we kind of like pass off will, our own will, not self-will, but will. The willingness to I will myself to go to a meeting. I will myself to do the things that I have to do to stay sober. That's not self-will, that's will. And will is a good thing. Like you said, it's a healthy part of our ego. As opposed to self-will, just trying to the control, and turning it over, and then God's will, just the things that we can't control, like out of the Serenity Prayer,
Right.
yeah, the things I can't control. The will is the things I can change. Give me the strength to change the things I can. That is will. And there's nothing wrong with that, So yeah, in the rooms a lot we hear about, self-will. It's such a bad thing. But you don't hear self-will so much. You just hear will. Like will is a bad thing. Your will. No, it needs to be God's will. No, my will is a pretty strong thing, and we need to remember that
Right.
that our will is a tool. If we're using it the right way, not self-will, but will.
Well, and that's where the term self will run riot. That's the bad thing.
Exactly.
And and we always say, that, like you say, when the Lord's Prayer is, thy will be done, somebody else's will. And I've talked about it, like when I was going through my job search, when, I'm trying to force things and I'm trying to do that. That's basically, if I'm feeling this right, if I'm feeling what you're putting down here, is that, it's my self will wants to force and wants to fuck things up and whatever. But really
Right.
when I'm saying, hey, it's somebody else's will, not mine, I'm saying, give me some of that goodwill so I can have that push forward, right? Kind of.
Yeah,
Am I
absolutely.
thinking about that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
right. And like he says, Bill Wilson knew what the words meant, and he was a
Right.
smart guy, and that's why he used self-will in those phrases. Self-will run riot, not will run riot. No, I wish my will would run riot. I'm too goddamn tired to have my.
Right.
I got to gin that up, man.
Right. Well, and the one thing and I was shaking my head, obviously shaking my head, yes, when he was talking about, and if anyone, and same deal. I mean, if you're not a 12-step person and you haven't read things out of the big book specifically, I would almost guarantee if you're alcohol free in recovery or whatever you're doing to be, without alcohol in your life, you've done any type of reading or quotes or things like that, you've probably read some of Bill Wilson's stuff and maybe didn't know it. Because I mean, it is he was really intelligent and very particular. And what did he put? There was words in there's a couple of passages that he used a couple of different words, or it was this, he would use whatever he meant to mean or meant to say, he would find two different words that meant the same thing. So he didn't repeat the same word throughout a paragraph or throughout a couple of pages.
Right.
It would be the same word or the same meaning given the same result of what he was trying to say, but he would literally switch the words around, and some of these things became, and I can't think of them off the top of my head, but became
Right.
catchphrases, on both sides of it. They mean the same thing, just different words. So I agree with that, particularly. And if he's using, self-will versus the actual word, the will to do something. And I get that. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. And then, like you said, willingness. I mean, we have to have willingness. I think everyone agrees with that when it comes to recovery. Or if you don't, I mean, I suppose I get it, but I don't, if I didn't have, you mentioned it, plenty of times, but I know right in the beginning when we started doing this podcast, talking about just a little bit of hope and a little bit of faith and a little bit of willingness, and these aren't, original thoughts by you. These are things that we've I was trying to give you a little bit of credit, but also trying to keep you humble there for a minute. But these are things we've been told, but it is true. We have to have, I've got to have the willingness to take a fucking shower and not shit myself. And I mean, I have to have the willingness to do to do work, and not get out of fucking bed.
Right. And you have to muster up your own will to go with that willingness. Cause I can be, I can be willing to not shit myself, but if I don't tighten my asshole, they'll take my will and tighten my asshole, I'm going to shit myself.
Right. Yeah. So if you don't take the action of tightening your butthole, then you are going to defecate amongst yourselves.
Go ahead and defecate amongst yourselves.
Yeah. Okay. Everyone, just defecate amongst yourselves. Yeah. Take a minute. But no, that's that's interesting. It's got me here, kind of, that it's almost that things that make you go type of thing, because and it's going to completely change it's not going to change my outlook on, the the Lord's Prayer or, thy will be done or somebody else's will. But it's going to change my view on what I mean by that,
Mhm.
and I think it's gonna change a different thing that I have to have the thing that they call will. I
Mhm.
have to have that, and basically what I'm praying for or throwing up there is to try to get back some of this more positive stuff and get rid of that. What if I'm anxious and if I want to control things and I want to run the show as it says in the book and all those different
Mhm.
things, that's self will. That's this fucked up
Absolutely.
self. That's my self will trying to run riot. I need
Mhm.
some of that goodwill in
Right.
there.
Absolutely.
You know what I want to do at the end of this episode? I want to search for the word will now. And I bet you we said will more than we said fuck in this episode.
Quite possibly.
But no, that's a good one. I seriously, it's got me thinking a little bit. I mean, not really like that I have questions or anything, but it's just great. That opened my mind a little bit there, Mike.
Well, cool. I'm glad. Yeah, I mean, it made me, when I read it this morning, I was like, "Oh, this is good. I like this," and yeah, it made me think too, and so I wanted to share it with you and our listeners.
Right. Well, and that's a cool part too. That we talk a lot about how much we've grown, and sometimes we kind of fuck around and obviously tell the stories about how shitty we used to be and stuff like that, which are true. They're not just jokes. But I love the fact of things like that. I mean, and not even the fact that we've been sober a bit, and it doesn't even matter the time frame, but the number of times that we've talked about somebody else's will and thy will be done and stuff like that, and just basically in not necessarily in a bad way, but this robotic way that at least that I've thought about it. And now I love the fact that my mind is still that my mind accepts new thoughts, because
Mm-hmm.
I can be kind of rigid, in a lot of
Sure.
ways. I know you can,
Oh
both
yeah.
of us are,
Absolutely.
and we're pretty fucking honest about that stuff.
Right. Well, again, it's finding the balance, because I mean, some of this shit we have to be rigid about, But
Right.
yes, it's finding the balance. It's constant. It's a constant battle to find the balance, right? But with that as well, with the rigidness and also being open to new thoughts and being flexible enough to allow those new thoughts to come in and maybe even move one of those old thoughts that were working just fine, but maybe this new thought works even better.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just it's an addition to,
Mm-hmm.
the thought, but I like that. It expands that. I don't know. It just took this. I mean, no, for no better way to put it, it's just in my head. I'm thinking about that. Took this vanilla statement that we've been saying for years and just
Mm-hmm.
added a little bit of flavor to it, and I
Nice.
like it.
Good.
Yeah, I like that. I really do. So thank you. Oh, and what I was going to say, and then I should mark the time here. So with these, what I've noticed with because the way I do clips every day now, and
Mm-hmm.
I tried to find a simple way to do it. So I completely stopped. I had until June to still use Spotify to do the background music and stuff, and I'm like, no, I'm just going to make the hard switch, get everything done now, get used to it. So I'm not trying to scramble at the time. So whatever it is for the last handful of episodes, I'm doing it a different way now.
Mm-hmm.
So when I do episode clips now, this app headliner that I use now to run the clips, the only way that I could figure it out, and it works out perfectly, the fact that we run usually for 90 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I always run, the first clip is done at the beginning. That's the first minute or two. That's on every episode. And then what I've done is go for every day. I go every 15 minutes. I just scan it, hit it, and, that's where I do my clips. I don't listen to them. I just do it at 15 and then 30 and then 45 and 60.
Hmm.
And for Thursday and Friday, I take that last 30 minutes and I'll go 10 in from one side and 10 minutes in from the other side. And that's where I do my clips.
Hmm.
I needed to find some structure so I'm not spending a ton of time cutting these clips,
Right.
But when I had the ability to pick and choose, I would look for that I was talking in a clip, and then the next day you were doing more of the talking, and then I'd alternate, But as it turns out, sometimes, especially like in the episode that you weren't feeling good,
Mm-hmm.
we would get more of that. That was you in the clips. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
So, and I feel kind of bad because once I run them, I'm like, I know, and everyone else fucking knows. I talk more on this than you do. I try not to, you have your conversations, but I think if we had percentage wise, I'm at least 60%.
Oh
Probably.
yeah, right.
Um,
Well, yeah,
just
you just in life you talk more than I do.
right. But on top of that too, I'm the one that's reading off the questions and that
Mm-hmm.
sort of thing. So it just inadvertently sometimes, but yes, I mean, yes, I talk more than you, but I was gonna mess with you. I forgot to bring it up tonight. I'm like, every 15 or 20 minutes, you have to talk for a few minutes and then you got a better shot, you got a better shot of being in my clips, because it's really not every 15 minutes, based on this recording. Because in the front, I've got 2-3 minutes of the opening, and then we got the podcast website ad there, and then whatever, so it goes off a little bit. But I think, with that reading, you're probably gonna get focused on with that reading. So
Ooh, I'll be famous on the internet.
yeah, and the thing of it is, and what's funny is, the only person that I know for sure, I think that we know for sure, that has listened to those episode clips is Dan from Cleveland. When he said,
Ah.
when he came up to us, said, "Who do you know?" And he's like, "How the fuck do I hear the whole episode?" He goes, "All I do is listen." Because I listen to these 2-minute clips and then it's done. He goes, "How can I listen to the whole goddamn thing?" We're
Right.
sitting there on the sidewalk outside of the meeting, setting them up on Spotify so he could listen to our episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't think anyone listens to the clips anyhow. But that was a whole nother thing about that. But no, seriously, 100% honest to God, I'm glad you brought that up, because yeah, that put a whole new whole new little thought in my
Good.
head. I like it. I like it a
All
lot.
right. Good. That's right.
Yeah.
Brought to you
So,
by
and
Satan.
what? Yes, you know what I hope, because here's what happens. Here's how the ads run now. And I know you don't listen to the
Uh-huh.
episodes, but on Spotify, basically when I put the episode together, Spotify has this smart ad thing, and it'll take your entire episode. It'll scan for spaces to put them in. So if we have like comfortable spaces, AI throws ads in them. So I hope
Mm-hmm.
that one of these fucking ads happens to pop in there where you said "brought to you by Satan." I think that would be just fucking funny.
Nice.
All right. So I'm gonna go on my second page here on things that I probably had written down fucking years ago. So let's figure out something. All right, I've got one here. So from Keep It Simple, I will list 3 examples of my past insanity. I will share these examples with my group, sponsor, a program, or a program friend, or a higher power. So let's even say, and obviously they're talking about, it was, a reading about insanity. Do you have even one or two, like, things that you used to do that, like, stick out to you, that these were clearly during your drinking days, that were your main things that you used to do that were insanity?
Um, other than dealing with this delay, let's see. I
Right.
I don't know, man. Try the insane notion that I was controlling my drinking, the insane notion that I could handle alcohol and drugs, the insane notion that I wasn't hurting anybody else, I wasn't affecting anyone else. Those are the first ones that pop into my mind.
Yeah, and I mean, as I was just reading that now, because I don't remember when I wrote this down, was the same thing, that my thought of, I'm not that bad, fuck you if you don't want to hear my apologies, type of thing, that type of insanity. And just really, I mean, running through life, thinking that I'm not hurting people, so almost the same type of things as you were just talking about. But yeah, I agree with you. That the delay was fine there for a minute, but yeah, when I asked you that last question, there was 3-4 seconds, 5 seconds in there until we got back.
Yep.
So yeah, this delay is definitely back in there. So fucking weird. All right, so one last thing, and this was just another thing they were talking about on the radio. So I don't know if you heard this. It just kind of made me laugh. They were talking about, there was an article that they were talking about on the radio. Have you heard anything about Miami and spring break, and how basically Miami is trying to keep people away for spring break? Have you heard anything like that?
Yeah, I've heard about it. Yeah, that they've shut it down, and yeah, they're trying to keep the kids out of Miami, which is it's party city anyway. So yeah, good luck with that.
Right. Well, and that's the thing that kind of made me laugh because that's what they were talking about on the radio. They're making restaurant. I mean, not just bars. Restaurants shut down at a certain point. They're closing beaches down at like 6 o'clock. They changed for non-residents. They were saying that they changed the drinking age. There was like a law passed to change the drinking age, I think, to 23 for anyone that's out of state. All these different things, which I mean, I was just kind of laughing about because I mean, yeah, like you said, it's Party City. I mean, isn't that like one of the cocaine capitals of the world or something like that? And I'm like, I mean, I get it. You know, they're talking about all these fucking kids rolling into town and messing up, messing up the bars, messing up the restaurants, messing up the hotel rooms and causing trouble and fighting in the streets and doing all that stuff. And I mean, I get it. It just kind of blew my mind when I was listening to it. But yeah, I don't know. I just didn't know if you heard about it, but I just thought it was kind of, I don't know. It seemed kind of weird because it's fucking Miami and you're worried about, college kids when it's fucking drug infested place. So, right.
Absolutely. Right.
All right. So you know what? Yeah, I think have we pushed our luck long enough with this fucking delay? I mean, it's getting bad again.
It is getting bad again. I think it's time to wrap this shit up.
Okay. Well, yeah, let's go for one more delay and then you can run us out of here, all right?
All right, then. Well, thank you, everyone, for listening to another episode of Sober Not Mature. Hope you got something out of this one. I know I did. As always, be kind to each other. Be good to each other. Go out and do something nice for somebody else this week. And don't tell anybody that you did it. Now it's time. It's time, kids. It's time for you, Gary. It's time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off till you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.
I was really wondering and hoping that you would mention Gary in that. So Gary, rock on, brother. That one was definitely for you, right? But yeah, I don't know. This yeah, this delay is really something else. So we're gonna just gonna say our goodbyes. And Mike, I love you, brother. I know we'll talk soon. There'll be a slight delay, and then goodbye.
I love you too, brother. Bye. And now it is time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off until you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.